Welcome to Dancing Goats and Singing Chickens Organic Farm. Today we just concluded a beautiful class with Brookeyle O'Reilly. We would like to know, Miss O'Reilly, the yoga teacher, why do you do yoga? What are the things that drive, why are you so passionate about yoga?
Yeah, absolutely. To keep it a short 30 seconds, which could be 30 minutes. I do yoga. I have scoliosis 4 years ago. I was dealing with incredible pain and disassociation and all the things. I turned to yoga to combat that pain and found this incredible liberation that comes from the practice of uniting mind, body, and breath. And engaging in the practice, I found such peace of mind, such liberation from thought processes that don't serve me, and have found this incredible, empowering essence.
Lovely. I would like to know, in yoga there are so many poses that are like denoting animals. There's a pigeon pose, there's a camel pose, there's a cobra pose, there's downward dog, upward dog, and why the names of these animals and how does it tie into the human body?
Yeah, absolutely. So the animal names are vastly from ancient rishis and gurus going out into the forest and observing the natural rhythms of nature, and seeing, as we so often are humans looking to understand the world and to understand life, they realized that the answers were not found only in textbooks, only in resources that man has made, but the answers are actually found in nature. So by observing these animals, observing the natural rhythms of the world, they could find that there was a knowing that they could deepen into to find deeper states of liberation and empowerment within themselves. So it's from observing the natural rhythms of the world.
Lovely. When people are in this trance-like state where they have a positive transference towards the teacher, they are following instructions, they're mimicking each and every move, it almost seems like the computer chip is ready to transform or get reprogrammed, and the mind-body-spirit connection is being made. Could you speak more towards that? What is the role of what the teacher says in the middle of class? Is it more than just some calisthenics and like Pilates or CrossFit? Or is what the teacher says, does it really carry any gravity and weight?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Our words are, in everyday reality, creating our reality. They are casting the spells of our existence. In yoga in particular, whenever a teacher is giving either advice or particular instructions, their words create such a resonance and impact, because we are getting in this place where we are clearing our channels, uniting mind, body, and breath, clears the mind from all the crazy chatter and allows you to take in the fullness of whatever your experience is. So by creating that connection, mind, body, and breath, in addition to getting in these postures where you're making these particular shapes, so your body becomes that open vessel and container to take in whatever is around you, it's so potent and so important that a teacher is aware of the impact of their words and spreading that positivity for the alleviation of suffering of all beings. So the mind is right for programming in that state. It's an open, fertile container whenever engaging of the sacred art and act of yoga.
Wonderful. You are so eloquent. You should have your own podcast, Questions from the participants. Anybody?
How long have you done yoga?
I've done yoga for 4 years. Right before I started my bodywork career, I was in a state of just feeling so overwhelmed and full of anxiety and kind of the weight of the world. And I was like, man, something has to change. And I stumbled into a class one day, and I got way more than I expected.
I have a question. Do you know where yoga originates from?
Oh, that's a great question. So there's so much speculation in this. The yogi scholars really go to town debating on this. So yeah, some people say it was founded 5,000 years ago, when the society that finally settled along the river of forgetting the name of the river right now, but essentially whenever people were able to get out of the state of hunting and gathering and settled into a place where internal awareness began to be cultivated. There are some like hieroglyphics and some different texts that kind of denote people in different postures, but then people dispute that because it's not, you know, they don't ever say yoga. The first showing of yoga in any sort of text was in the ancient Hindu Vedas, which, you know, so that's 2,000 years ago. It was actually written down in the Vedas and the Upanishads, but the Vedas were a spoken lineage way before it was ever written. So like actual documentation 2,000 years ago, they suspect much longer. And then if you're like in the metaphysical realm, there's the idea that it comes from Shiva, which is beyond time. So yeah, it's
Thank you.
to be disputed.
Thank you.
So my question is how does yoga impact your cardiovascular health?
Oh
If
yeah,
it does.
yeah, totally. So interestingly enough, it is a multifaceted system in that way. So it both like creates that rapid heartbeat, as we noticed in some of our more vigorous, but it also works as this incredibly potent tool to actually slow and calm the heart down. So it's both, it's like doing that deepening of that dilation and constriction to where that expansion and that contraction is coming together. So it's like it is creating the opportunity for both expansion and contraction in one's life, and by doing that in relation to the heart, it's empowering the heart for optimal functioning and for longevity.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question regarding different styles of yoga. I've heard lots of different names, and if you could speak to what we experience today and maybe a few other styles.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting, you know, in classes, we go to a class and it's labeled one thing, and we get this idea of, oh, this must be like what this has been for like millennia. And in reality, it's all kind of under one umbrella of type of class, which is Hatha. So pretty much, you know, any vinyasa, any kundalini, any sort of sub-branch, it all forms from the Hatha, which essentially is a practice first and foremost of meditation, of sitting and calming the mind, and then those other lineages have kind of branched off from that meditative space, so into like Kriya Yoga, into Kundalini, into Vinyasa, and then you have the westernized like power and sculpt and all of those things. But yeah, so you have Hatha is about holding a posture for a prolonged amount of time to really deepen into that energetic flow. It's really connecting with the breath. It's really creating expansion from the inside out. And then Vinyasa is more of a free flow. So it's more of like doing the Hatha postures, but more in a quick, rapid succession. So one breath, one movement is kind of the ideal with it. And the reason for, so there's a lot to it.
Awesome. Any more questions?
No, I didn't come up with one. Y'all stole mine.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Go
Thank
Yoga.
you.
Thank you, Sister Brookel.
Thank you.
Awesome.